Hi guys, how are we all doing? Well, this was a video that I wasn't expecting to make. The Ultra Trail Australia 100 kilometre trail event that I've been working towards for the past 6 months has been postponed. I'll get to the reasons why it's been postponed in just a little minute, but first I want to just say that while I am really disappointed that I'm not going to get the opportunity to run that 100 kilometre trail race in 4 weeks' time, I am 110% okay with the decision of the organisers to postpone the event for 6 months. Now, for those viewers who don't live in Australia, we have copped so much rain in the early parts of 2022, especially here on the eastern seaboard, and the Blue Mountains area has really copped an absolute soaking, so much so that the trails that were to be used for the Ultra Trail Australia are just completely waterlogged and a little bit unstable. And only recently, in a very tragic accident, a visiting British family was caught in a landslide on one of the trails, and sadly some members of that family lost their life in that accident. And I guess from that point on, there always was going to be some doubt about the UTA going ahead in May. And look, as I said earlier, the organisers have made the absolute correct decision here in postponing the event for 6 months. It's now going to be held in late October. And I've always said here on the channel, when it comes to holding events, it's safety first. It's not just the competitors, the runners, it's also the volunteers who help out to make sure that the event is run safely. Also spectators as well. You've got to take all these things into account, and the organisers of the UTA have done that and have come up with the right decision. We've got to give nature its opportunity to repair itself there in the Blue Mountains, and fingers crossed for the organisers that in 6 months' time, appropriate government departments and the national parks will be able to get in there and repair the trails which have been damaged, and the UTA Australia event in October can go off in a successful and safe way. For me, I won't be able to do the event in October. I do have other plans which I will share with you a little bit later in this video. So I'm going to be deferring my entry to May 2023. Just means an extra 12 months of training on the trails to get a little bit stronger. Now, all this training that I've done over the past 6 months in preparation for the UTA 100, those 2 training blocks up until this point in 2022, it's not going to go to waste, guys. I feel like I'm the strongest I've been in my adult running life, and I've got a great base now to really launch off to look at some other races in 2022. And I've got to say, my training has been really good. It's been a lot of fun up until now. I'm sitting just over 2,000 kilometres for the year, which works out about just a tad under 20 kilometres a day, or around that 135 kilometres per week average. So I've had some big weeks. I'm just coming off my biggest week of the year, 165k. It's, what's that, a little bit over 100 mile. The body, sure, it was feeling a little bit tired, but I feel strong, and I think that's going to really help me with some of the road races that are coming up here in the Australian winter. We're just coming into our road and marathon racing season, so plenty of events to pick and choose from. I've got a lot of positives to take from these 2 training blocks that I've done, and now I just need to pivot a little bit and turn my attention to the roads. So what now, guys? The short-term goals, what's the long-term goals now that UTA 100 is on the back burner, I guess, for 12 months? So in the short term, I'm just going to take probably 7 to 10 days now just to lower the mileage, let the body just recover a little bit, take a breather from all the high mileage that I've done over the last 10 to 12 weeks. During this time, I'm just going to sit down, work out some goal races, some events that I really want to do. And like I said, we're coming into our winter season, so there's going to be no shortage of events to choose from. I do have entries that were deferred from 2021 for events at the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast and Melbourne Marathon festivals. I also do have a deferred entry for a trail race, which I can choose sometime later in the year as well. So there's going to be plenty of options. So looking a little bit longer term, I really want to have another crack at a sub 3 hour marathon, and I think that the trail training that I have done over the past 6 months has given me a really strong base to launch off that and have a real crack at a sub 3 marathon this year. Now I am toying with the idea of jumping into a marathon block and getting ready for the Gold Coast Marathon in the first weekend of July. That means that I would have about an 8-week training block and a 2-week taper for that to happen. If that doesn't happen, then there's the Melbourne Marathon that I have an entry for in October, and that's the reason why I'm not going to do the UTA 100k trail race in October, because I am committed to run the Melbourne Marathon. There's also the Sunshine Coast Half Marathon in August, which I have an entry for as well. That's going to be a target race where I really will go for a time. So what I need to work out is which marathon will I target for that sub 3 attempt. Will it be the Gold Coast Marathon first weekend in July, or the Melbourne Marathon in the first weekend in October? My 2 sub 3 hour marathons, which I did run in my early 50s, I think it was back in 2017 now, were at the Gold Coast and Melbourne Marathons. Really quite comfortable with both those courses, and they are nice and fast. So that's the way I'm looking at the moment. It's just a matter of whether I target one or maybe even target both of them. And I guess in the back of my mind too, I want to put down a BQ, a Boston qualifier. Not at this stage that I'm considering to go back to Boston to run the marathon again, but just in case. You just never know what's going to happen, and if I can put down a BQ and just see what happens, it might be good to have just sitting in the back pocket for 2023. So even though the UTA 100 is off the drawing board for 2022, there's still so much to look forward to. There are other races apart from the ones that I have already mentioned that I will also look at. So still lots to come, guys. But before I finish this video, I just really want to say a huge thank you to you, the new subscribers, the long-time subscribers who have followed my journey over the past 6 months in preparation for the UTA 100 kilometre trail race. Your support has been invaluable to me. It's really inspired me to get out the door, complete those sessions, and having you coming along on the journey with me has really meant a lot. So again, you guys really rock, and I want to just say thank you. Hopefully you'll stick around and follow my next running adventures as we move now into some road and marathon races, and lots more fun times to be had on this running journey. So I hope your running is going really well, guys. Let me know down in the comments where you're at with your running, what events you're up to. We'd really love to hear from you all. And I haven't forgotten also about catching up for some shakeout runs at those Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast and Melbourne Marathon events. More coming on that a little bit closer to the dates, guys. But until then, hope you're all doing really well. So run free, run happy, and I'll catch you in the next video.